Think online scams only happen to adults? Scammers are now targeting your kids through games that they love the most, and it's costing families big time. Hi, I'm Alicia Kozak. I was the first child abducted by an internet predator, and for over 20 years, I've made it my mission to protect families from the evolving dangers online. From speaking in schools to educating the public through the media, from working with law enforcement to shaping critical legislation, I've dedicated my life to making the digital world safer. And today we're addressing an online threat that specifically targets our children's trust and their enthusiasm: online scams. You might focus on dangers like predators or inappropriate content, but financial and identity scams aimed directly at young people are rampant and increasingly sophisticated. You might believe scams primarily target adults with bank accounts, but the hard truth here is that children and teenagers are prime targets within the very digital spaces that they love: the games that they play, the social media platforms that they frequent, and the messages that they exchange daily. These malicious schemes are far more than just a minor annoyance. Falling victim can lead to compromised online accounts, real financial loss hitting the family budget, potential identity theft issues down the road, and profound emotional distress for a child who feels tricked, foolish, or violated. Ignoring this threat is not an option, and it is imperative that we understand the specific types of scams that are targeting our kids today. First, it's essential to understand why children and teenagers are particularly vulnerable targets for scammers. This isn't a reflection on their intelligence, but rather a combination of developmental factors and common online behaviors. Children, especially the younger ones, naturally tend to be more trusting and less cynical than adults are. Their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that's responsible for impulse control, planning, and risk assessment, isn't fully developed, making them more susceptible to impulsive clicks or decisions when faced with an exciting offer. They may not have developed the healthy skepticism required to critically evaluate online requests or promises that seem suspicious. Furthermore, children and teens are often deeply invested in their online social lives and their gaming achievements. This makes them highly susceptible to scams that offer coveted virtual items and free game currency like Robux or V-Bucks, boosts in online status, or exclusive access. The strong desire for these virtual goods or social validation can easily cloud their judgment and make them overlook the obvious red flags. And peer pressure, it can also play a role. If friends are talking about a supposed free giveaway, a child might feel compelled to participate without proper scrutiny. They generally have less experience in recognizing deceptive language, sophisticated manipulation tactics, or even subtle technical indicators of a scam, such as slightly altered website address or poor graphic design on a fake page. Scammers are acutely aware of these vulnerabilities, and they deliberately design their schemes to exploit them. So what are the types of scams that are frequently aimed at young people online? One of the most pervasive threats remains to be phishing. While adults might encounter phishing attempts through fake bank or fake company emails, phishing targeting kids often comes as fake login pages for their favorite games, like Roblox, Fortnite, Minecraft. They are all prime examples, or popular social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat. A child might receive an urgent-sounding direct message or an email seemingly from a friend whose account was hacked, or even appearing to be from a platform's official support team. This message may claim that there's a security issue, that they want a prize, or that they need to verify their account details by clicking a provided link. And then this link directs them to a meticulously crafted fake login page, visually identical to the real one. When the unsuspecting child enters their username and password, the scammer instantly captures these credentials. With this access, they can hijack the account. They can steal valuable virtual items or currency accumulated over time. They can lock the child out permanently or even use the compromised account to launch further scams against the child's friends, damaging their reputation. Another common scam preys directly on kids' desires. Maybe things like fake giveaways, contests, or generators. Scammers know that kids desperately want virtual currency or rare items for their games. They flood platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Discord, and even in-game chats with advertisements for free Robux generators or unlimited V-Bucks hacks, and similar offers that promise valuable rewards for little or no effort. Clicking on these leads to websites or forums that typically require the child to enter their account username and password, which is a big red flag. They might be forced to complete endless online surveys, which will then harvest personal data for marketing or identity theft, download suspicious software or browser extensions that often contain malware, or even provide a parent's credit card number, supposedly for age verification or a small processing fee. Needless to say, the promised virtual goods, they never arrive, and the child is left with a compromised account, malware on their device, or unauthorized charges. These scam sites often use convincing graphics, fake user testimonials, and countdown timers to create false legitimacy and urgency. But perhaps the most insidious scams rely on social engineering and impersonation. These tactics manipulate victims psychologically. Scammers might create fake online profiles, meticulously mimicking a real friend or a classmate, or posing as someone trustworthy like a popular influencer, a game developer, or platform support staff. They invest time in building rapport, chatting about shared interests, offering help, complimenting the child to gain their trust. Once trust is established, that's when they take action. They might invent a sob story to ask for a loan of a valuable virtual item, which they of course will never return, trick the child into revealing their password under the guise of fixing a techno issue, or they might say something like, "I work for so-and-so company and I just need your password to restore your lost items," and then persuade them into clicking a malicious link disguised as a game invite or a funny video, or even pressure them into sharing personal photos or information. A common scam that older teenagers face is online romance or relationship scams. Scammers create fake profiles, often using attractive photos that are stolen from elsewhere, and feign romantic interest. Over time, they build an emotional connection before eventually asking a child for money for fabricated emergencies, gift cards, or sometimes coercing the child into sending compromising photos or videos, which are then used for sextortion. And they threaten to release the private images unless payment is made. This is a devastatingly effective and harmful form of manipulation. Given that these are incredibly sophisticated manipulative tactics, what specific red flags should we teach our children to identify instantly? So first and foremost, instill a deep skepticism towards any online offer that seems too good to be true. Free Robux, unlimited V-Bucks, winning a major prize without entering, these are virtually always scams. Legit giveaways are rare and won't ask for passwords or payment. Be highly suspicious of any message or request that creates intense urgency or pressure. Scammers rely on panic. Teach your child that legitimate requests, especially from platforms or companies, allow time for consideration. High-pressure tactics are a giant red flag. Examine messages closely for poor grammar, spelling mistakes, awkward phrasing, or unprofessional design, especially if the message claims to be from an official source. While not always present, these errors are common in communication with scams. Teach extreme caution with links and website addresses. Show kids how to hover over links on a computer to preview the actual URL. Phishing sites often use URLs that are subtly misspelled or use different domain endings. And if unsure, type the official website address directly into the browser instead of clicking the link. Really get them to understand that passwords, security codes, and sensitive personal information like full address, phone number, date of birth, and school name should never be shared in response to an unsolicited message, email, or any website that reached out via link. Legitimate platforms have secure ways to manage accounts and won't ask for passwords via chat or email. Watch out for requests for unusual payment methods like gift cards, like iTunes, Steam, Google Play. Wire transfers or cryptocurrency scammers prefer these because they are difficult to trace and reverse. Legitimate businesses rarely demand payment via gift card. And be wary of anyone pressuring them to move the conversation off the original platform to a different chat app, like Discord or WhatsApp, especially if they don't know that person well. Scammers do this to evade platform moderation and monitoring. And finally, any request to keep a secret from parents or friends is a massive, massive warning sign. Scammers thrive on isolating their victims. Encourage your child to always tell you if someone asks them to keep secrets. Teaching kids to recognize red flags is essential, but it must be reinforced by proactive protective measures that we put into place. Education and open communication are paramount in scam prevention. You must consistently educate your child about online scams. Don't just talk to them about this once. Make it an ongoing dialogue, and tailor the examples to specific games and apps that they use. Show them screenshots of real scams, maybe role-play scenarios. Ask them, what would you do if someone sent you this message? And explain why these offers are fake. The more knowledge that they have, the better equipped that they are. You must cultivate an environment of open communication where reporting scams feels safe. Your child needs to know without a doubt that they can come to you the moment that they encounter something suspicious online, or even if they suspect that they've made a mistake and clicked on something bad or they shared information. Your primary goal is their safety, and they won't face automatic harsh punishment or lose all device privileges simply for reporting a potential scam. Fear silences the victims, allowing scams to succeed. Implement really strong technical safeguards. Put strong technical safety measures in place. Insist on strong, unique passwords for every single online account, and explain to them why this is important. If one account is breached, unique passwords prevent scammers from accessing other accounts, and there's lots of reputable password managers out there to help generate and store complex passwords securely. Enable two-factor authentication on every account that offers it. Explain that this is an extra code, usually sent to a private phone or an email that provides a vital security layer even if their password gets stolen. Teach your child to be really cautious about friend requests, direct messages, and trade offers, especially from unknown individuals, but also from accounts that are claiming to be their friends. And encourage verifying unexpected requests through a separate communication channel, like texting or calling a friend in real life. Be particularly skeptical of in-game trades that seem unbalanced or require giving up an item first. Carefully manage financial controls. Disable or password protect in-app purchases functionality on all devices and platforms. And if you permit online spending, strongly consider using prepaid gift cards with limited balances instead of linking your primary real-life credit or debit card to your game account. Kids sometimes just don't get the difference between virtual currency and real-life money. It can also be a really good idea to install and maintain reputable security software on all your family's devices, including their phones and their tablets. Keep the operating systems and apps updated, as these frequent updates often contain critical security patches that protect against malware and exploits that are used in some scams. Above all, please help your child develop critical thinking skills. You can teach them to stop, think, and ask. If any online message, offer, link, or request feels unusual, exciting, urgent, or worrying, train them to instinctively stop before reacting, think critically about whether it makes sense and to look for red flags, and ask you or another trusted adult before clicking, replying, or providing any information. But what if it happens? What if your child is scammed? How should you react? Well, stay calm and reassure your child. They are likely feeling really scared, embarrassed, or foolish. Avoid anger and blame. Your immediate priority is their emotional well-being and securing their accounts. Let them know that you're there to help them fix it. And your next step is to change the password on the affected account or any other accounts that might have used the same or a similar password. Enable 2FA right away if it wasn't on already. And gather evidence if possible. Take screenshots of scam messages, profiles, or websites that are involved. Report the scam incident directly to the game platform, social media site, or app developers. They have established procedures for dealing with scams and compromised accounts. And reporting helps protect others. If financial information was involved, contact your bank or credit card company immediately to report the fraudulent activity. Cancel cards if necessary and dispute charges. You may also consider reporting the scam to official people like the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, or the Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3, to help authorities track these criminals. And finally, you can use this incident as a powerful but difficult learning experience. Discuss what happened, how the scam worked, and what lessons can be learned to prevent it from happening again. Reinforce that open door policy for reporting future concerns. And in conclusion, online scams targeting children represent a serious and persistent threat in our digital world. Scammers employ increasingly sophisticated psychological and technical methods to exploit youthful trust, desires, and inexperience across platforms where they spend their time. They are after account access, personal information, and ultimately, money. And you cannot be complacent. Parents, you must be proactive. We need to educate ourselves and our children thoroughly about the specific types of scams that they might face online. We must teach them to identify the crucial red flags and make strong critical thinking habits. Implementing technical safeguards and maintaining open, non-judgmental communication channels are so vital. Our children need to feel empowered to recognize threats and to safely report them immediately. Take these proactive steps. Talk to your child specifically about scams related to their favorite online activities. Review their account security settings together, and practice identifying those red flags. Ensure that they understand that stop, think, ask principle, and continuous vigilance and ongoing education are our most effective tools in protecting your children from these predatory online schemes. And if you're looking for more tools, tips, and real-world strategies, check out my new book, The Internet Safety Guidebook, Protecting Kids in the Digital Age. The link is in the description below. I hope this video really showed you the importance of scam awareness. Please like this video and subscribe for more essential digital safety insight for parents. And thank you for joining me. I'm Alicia Kozak. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.